Good afternoon, fourth grade. We're going to continue reading in our novel, The Red Pyramid. And we're going to begin with a quick write. And for our quick write, we have a fill-in-the-blank summary from the beginning of chapter 5. Carter and Sadie visit Thoth at the University of Memphis. Thoth sends them on a mission to get something from a magician's tomb to help them defeat Set. Sadie and Carter pass Thoth's test, and he tells them to go down the river to the land of the Duat to get the feather of truth from Anubis. All right, so press pause to fill in the blanks and play when you're ready for the focus question. The focus question is, how does Sadie's interaction with Anubis impact her? What theme might the author reveal about communicating this action? All right, so we're going to look at Sadie's interaction with Anubis, and we want to know how does that teach a theme in the text. Our vocabulary words are vessel, and that is another word for a ship or a boat. The second word is cataract, and that's another name for a waterfall. And then the last one is chide. That's when you scold someone or you get on to them because they did something wrong. All right, as we're reading out loud, we're going to use our CSPS strategy. I do want to preview some pages because we're not going to read all of them. So after Carter and Sadie leave Thoth, he tells them the 3 things that they need: Set's secret name, the feather of truth, and they need a book. They need a book that has a spell in it. And so they have the book, that's what they got from the magician's tomb. And now they're going to Anubis to get the feather of truth. All right? And so they get on a boat that apparently is their family's boat. And the captain is going to take them to the land of the dead. And so Bast tells them more about herself and how she was trapped with Apophis, this evil monster who she had to fight for such a long time. And that's when Sadie's mother risked her life so that Bast could be free. And so Sadie's mother destroyed herself so that Bast could be free. All right, so they go down a cataract or a waterfall, and now they are in the land of the dead. And they keep going until they get to the Hall of Judgment. All right, so we're going to begin reading in this bottom corner. It says, deep in the temple we found a large circular chamber. The center of the room was dominated by a set of broken scales. Welcome to the last room you will ever see. The Hall of Judgment was once the center of Ma'at, but without Osiris seated at his throne, it has fallen into ruins. I spotted a strange figure at the base of the scales. Is that Ammit the Devourer? Look upon him and tremble. I always imagined him bigger. We'll stop right there because we have our setting. In box 2, we would write Sadie, Carter, Bast, and Khufu arrive at the Hall of Judgment in the center of the Ma'at. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And we will write down this quote that Bast says at the bottom of the page. Welcome to the last room you will ever see. The Hall of Judgment was once the center of Ma'at, but without Osiris seated at the throne, it has fallen into ruins. Press pause to write down the quote and play when you're ready to keep reading. Go ahead and turn the page. We're at the top of the page. We're still looking for information about the character. Amit only has to be big enough to eat hearts of the wicked. Trust me, he does his job well. And then we see a dog up here that's growling. Or he did it well, at least. Without Osiris, the souls no longer arrive. Arr, arr. There was a snarling noise, and a huge black shape leaped out of the midst. And he's leaping on top of Bass, and she's getting ready to use her combat magic. And they fight, and then Bass runs away. Bass ran scared, and the jackal turned and looked at us. Only it wasn't quite a jackal anymore. Top of the next page. Humph! I'm not a dog. The jackal morphed into a young man, and my heart almost stopped. Anubis was drop-dead gorgeous, and you're not dead. No, though we're trying awfully hard. I see. Khufu explained everything. Apparently, baboon speak was more efficient than human languages because he told the whole story in a few barks. So you're Horus, which means you must be. I'm not Isis. I mean, Isis is milling around inside me, but I'm not her. She's just visiting. And the two of you intend to challenge Set. That's the general idea. Will you help? It depends. Let us talk. A fog rose from the floor, and I was soon lost in it. We'll stop right there because we have information about our characters. In box 1, we would write, Carter and Sadie go to the Hall of Judgment to get the Feather of Truth from Anubis. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we would write down Sadie's narration in the middle of the page. Khufu explained everything. Apparently, baboon speak was more efficient than human languages because he told the whole story in a few barks. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready to keep reading. All right, we are listening for the problem. So Anubis takes Sadie to another place where they can talk alone. We're at the top of the next page. When Anubis's fog cleared, we were standing somewhere else, some sort of graveyard by the looks of it. Where'd Carter and Khufu go? What happened to your little Hall of Judgment? It's not my hall. I merely oversee it until Lord Osiris returns. Please take a seat. I wanted to speak with you in private. Horus can be pushy and arrogant. He thinks he's better than me, but Isis always treated me like a son. You're not my son, and I told you I'm not Isis. Your soul has a similar glow. Flattering, my soul glows. Where are we? New Orleans. I love it here. That's why the Hall of Judgment often connects to this part of the mortal world. I don't see what's so great about it. Looks like a graveyard to me. I am hosted by places of death and mourning. Graveyards such as this one work for best. I live for death. You must be a lot of fun at parties. As the god of funerals, I'm afraid I can't help you until after Set kills you. No, that's no use. Part of me hoped there was an actual boy sitting next to me, someone hosting a god like me, but I should have known that it was too good to be true. It's not like there's any potential, Sadie, I chided myself. He's the bloody god of funerals. He's like 5,000 years old. All right, so Sadie kind of has a crush on Anubis because he's so cute, and she's realizing like he's not actually a human and it wouldn't work out. Top of the page. Thoth said you have the Feather of Truth. Will you give it to us? I cannot. Giving it to a mortal would be against the rules of Osiris. But Osiris isn't here. The 5 have been released. Lord Osiris will claim his throne soon. That's not going to happen. Osiris is trapped inside my dad. The baboon did not explain this. Well, I can't explain as well as that baboon, but basically, my dad wanted to release gods for reasons I haven't completely figured out. When Dad released Osiris, out came Set. Set imprisoned my father, who became Osiris's host. This means Osiris has been trapped by Set. Set's your father, I'm guessing? Is that it? That's what the myths say. I've never met him. My mother Nephthys gave me to Osiris when I was a child. Osiris raised me. I owe him everything. You understand then, you've got to help us. I can't, I'll get in trouble. You'll get in trouble? How old are you? 16? You're a god. Are you always this infuriating? Usually more. It's a wonder your family hasn't married you off to someone far away. Excuse me, Death Boy, but I'm 12, well, almost 13, and very mature, almost 13, and that's not the point. We don't marry off girls in my family. Turn the page. Top of the page. You may know everything about funerals, but apparently you aren't up to speed on courtship rituals. Apparently not. Are you going to give me the feather? It's the tail feather from a Benu, what you call a phoenix. It weighs exactly the same as a human soul. The feather cannot abide the smallest lie. If you speak or act in a way that is untruthful while holding it, you will burn to ashes. I will give it to you for Osiris' sake, but you must answer 3 questions for me to prove that you are honest. Right, give me the bloody feather. Remember, the slightest lie will destroy you. Are you ready? Yes. Does that count as a question? We'll stop right there because we have the problem. Anubis is not going to give Sadie the feather until he knows she's honest. And if she lies while holding it, she will die. So in box 3A, we would write, Anubis will not give Sadie the feather of truth unless she answers 3 questions honestly. If she's not honest, though, she will die. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we would write down this quote at the top of the page that says, I will give it to you for Osiris' sake, but you must answer 3 questions for me to prove that you are honest. Press pause to write down your quote and play when you're ready to keep reading. We're in the middle of the page. I suppose it does. You bargain like a Phoenician sea trader, Sadie Kane. Second question then, would you give your life for your brother? Of course. Final question. If it means saving the world, are you prepared to lose your father? That's not a fair question. Answer it honestly. If I had to, then I suppose I would save the world. I believe you, Sadie. Oh, really? I'm holding the bloody feather of truth, and you believe me? Well, thanks. All right. We have the solution. In box 4, you would write, Sadie answers the questions honestly and gets the feather of truth. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the quote. And for the quote, we'll read this top box to get our quote. The truth is harsh. Spirits come to the hall of judgment all the time, and they cannot let go of their faults, true feelings, mistakes. They deny right up until Amet devours their souls for eternity. It takes courage to admit the truth. Yeah, I feel so strong and courageous. Thanks. Okay, so we'll write down that quote where it says, Anubis says it takes courage to admit the truth as he hands her the feather. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the paragraph.